What's up, everybody? It's Animane here, and this is the first unofficial episode of Unsigned Hype YouTube version. That's right. If you used to listen to my podcast, Unapologetics, then you are familiar with this segment where I cover various properties and projects that I feel need a lot of shine. And I think they're just awesome, and people just need more eyes on it. And now I'm applying that same standard to a creator because this guy, when I say this dude is the truth, he's an absolute mad lad. He doesn't just have one story that he's working on. He got a whole universe essentially that is in the works. He is getting the word out about it right now. And I'm not going to delay things anymore. I'm going to hand it right over to the man, the mad lad himself, Claylex. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Awesome. Thanks for agreeing to even come on with me.
Yeah, actually, I was the one that was like insinuate, hey, we should do an interview because I was like, it wasn't that I was bored. I was just like, oh, hey, this is really great because I think our two synergies will work together.
Right. Yeah, that actually kind of took me off guard in a good way
Yeah,
because I'm still getting used to this idea that people that I haven't met personally want to talk to me. It's
yeah.
kind of a thing. But I'm really glad you reached out to me for that. That was some real
Yeah,
shit.
it's no problem.
And because definitely I feel like in our little sphere of creative Twitter and the creative internet, I feel like you have a pretty unique take on things, and you have a really good handle on the idea of creating your own universe essentially, because you have a lot of creators who just they start with one hero or one story, but you're just like, man, look, I already got like three, and then they all gonna meet up together. But
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your universe, your characters. And I'd really, y'all, you already know me, man. I'm really here for Clayman. Like, I love all your people, but I already know I'm gonna love the hell out of Clayman. So I definitely need
Uh,
to hear more about him.
it's like in a nutshell, if I could try to do a nutshell about all my comics, like basically Clayman is about a 16-year-old kid becomes a mutant, lives in the future, he fights other mutants in the future. It's kind of simplistic like that, but it's also very, very I feel is going to be good in terms of the storytelling and writing and the characters. People are going to love these characters, not just by the character design alone, made by Ivan Fiorelli, who, by the way, is making a Marvel comic now, which is very awesome.
Oh,
But
word.
yeah, and
All
he is
right.
going. Yeah, he's making the what is it, issue number 24, Marauders. He's drawing that. But anyways, yeah, and even then, it's like it's crazy too because Ivan still wants to work with me, even if he's like, yeah, no, it's like I got this Marvel comic going, but I still want to work with you. It's like, no, as far as I know, he was working on it while he was doing Clayman. So, the guy works at least like 6, 7 projects, so it's fucking crazy.
Damn, man. That's
I know,
music to my ears though.
I
Like,
know.
yeah, like he's literally at where a lot of folks want to be, and he's still doing his thing with you. That's what's up. Because I would have expected him almost to be like, yeah, kind of actually have a an established, like, quote unquote, big name project I'm working on. So I know it was fun working with you, but best of luck. As shitty as that might have
Yeah,
been, that's what I would have expected. So the fact that
yeah,
he's still
yeah.
with you, that's what's up.
Yeah, and yeah, right now, yeah, like I said, I it is about again about just a kid who's a mutant. He's fighting other mutants. I do have when I did the one shot, that one was really, it was really really light, well deserved, well loved is the best term I can explain with that because I was surprised. I didn't think people would like it. This is my first ever comic that I ever wrote, and I got this whole team set up with an editor, and then I got an artist, colorist, and a letterer, and I didn't think it was like, okay, it's gonna be good, but I don't think it's gonna be that good. But I'm like, man, you people really, really like this.
Yeah.
I
That
mean,
that shit really will
especially,
blindside you.
yeah, I think like you always get like that you almost cry moment. I think I almost cried when I made once page four was fully done, excluding the lettering. I was like, yeah, this is exactly what Clay is to me. He's been fully immortalized as a character, and he's gonna continue probably astounding me till the end of his series.
Right. Real quick, you did bring up that one shot. I did want to just piggyback off that real quick, if you don't
Yeah,
mind,
sure, sure.
because I had seen art of Clayman before. And I'm like, I he looks cool. He has a very interesting look, and he almost has a look where if you just look at his face, he looks like he could be a villain, but then you see him in action and stuff, and he just has so much personality, man. Like if there's two things in this world I can't stand is bigots and boring ass OCs. And you don't have to worry about either of those problems, man, because
Yeah,
Clayman is the truth. But when I read that one shot, and I'm like, all right, first of all, we got these mutants, and it's in the future, and these anthropomorphic animal people walking around,
yeah. The
and
evolved. That's what they're called. That's what the official race is called.
say them again.
Well, yeah. It's like I said, with the races, yeah, you got the evolved, which are the animals, and then you
Mm-hmm.
got plantoids, which are the plants that are kind of like humanoid, and then you just got robots.
Right. All right. Cool. Gotcha. So he got a he was squaring off with some evolved in there, and it was funny. Like I genuinely laughed. I remember genuinely laughing, and I loved how he didn't automatically have everything all figured out. Like I could tell that this was clearly a hero
Yeah.
who was, what'd you say?
No, it's just like I laugh. Yeah, exactly. Because like the first the first like specifically around pages 3, 4, and 5, you think it's gonna be super easy for him, but he literally trips on the top of the fucking aisle, and
Yes.
I was like, and again, Mercy, like my editor, when he saw that in fluctuation, he laughed his ass off, and I was like, yeah, I thought that again. I know it's like it's kind of more serious in the main series, but I thought like kind of give more of a chill, funny esque vibe for the one shot, and besides, it's basically like a side story, so it's like I don't really need to make it super serious, and I thought,
Right.
Sonny's style for what I wanted was perfect for this because it's kind of got that half chibi look, but also half like humanoid esque look I wanted to do, and she did it perfectly. So to kind of like I said, going with the more funny esque style approach I wanted for this one shot.
Yeah, no, that was the best move you could have made, man. Cause, but you do have some of these like one shots or introductory issues where you read it and it's like right out the gate, just so like I feel like I'm reading Shakespeare or something. It's so serious, so even if it's cool art and stuff, like if I'm already bogged down and we ain't even started the story, am I really that motivated to keep reading? But if you can bring that element of humor and excitement with it, then I feel like that's a much better starting point. So I'm definitely glad that you took that route. And even with the art style, like you said, with the more chibified look, it definitely played up the humor of the issue. And like that joint was chef's kiss, man, like for real.
Yeah.
Um, but just in general, like Clayman, I love whenever you post about him because I never know what I'm gonna get. I don't know if he's gonna be a cheeky bastard. I don't know if he's gonna be appearing in a comic or a piece of art with someone else. Even that one shot that I think you said was either is a cover or was gonna be a cover, where it's like the Clayman persona flexing in the background, and then his human version is like in the
Yeah,
center.
no, that's the issue one cover.
Dude, that shit is fire,
Yeah,
man.
and I was like, I what was it? I remember when I was a kid, I went to Universal Studios. They had that exact same thing for the Incredible Hulk ride, and I was like, and my memory shifted. I'm like, that's gonna be the cover for issue one. Like that's gonna be the inspirational reference material I need to do it. It's like you can look it up. It's like you can, like I said, you can look it up, and like it's kind of exactly like that. But it's still like it's got its own original flair, that it's
Mhm.
like it's still Clayman and not just like a ripoff of Bruce Banner and the Hulk.
Yes. Yes. I love that shit. And I love how we as creators now we're pulling inspiration from the things that have mattered to us in childhood or years ago, and we're using that to make something all new. And really, when you break it down, like that is art, that is creation.
Yep.
You know, there's nothing new under the sun, but that doesn't mean that you have to just do a carbon copy. You can take inspiration from stuff and still make it your own.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You
because
know?
like people give us such a hard time over that shit. Like, oh, I used a reference. It's not like I copied and pasted the entire thing in. And like, yeah, like look, people love that cover. You know,
Yeah.
I haven't heard one person say that it's a ripoff. I even said that I used like inspiration from that. People didn't mind as long as you're honest and all that other stuff. Then yeah, people won't give you slack for it. You know.
Right. Like that's real weird to me, man. Like if someone is
I
admitting
know.
that, they took inspiration from something and use it to make something else. You shouldn't use that to be like, oh, you're copying them. Unless it's literally copy and paste.
Copy and paste. Yeah.
But yours isn't. Like yours, that's like when I think of that pose, now that you've mentioned Incredible Hulk, I'll remember that in the back of my mind. But I will always think of Clayman doing that before I think of, oh well, Claylex just ripped off Incredible Hulk. Like, no, that's not what we're doing here at all. Not at all. But Clayman is an absolute mad lad. I can't wait till issue one is done and I can read it because I'm rich.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it. But that is only one because you got more stuff that you're working on, man. Tell us about some
Yeah.
of the other stuff you got working on behind the
Yeah.
scenes there.
It's like yeah, let's see. I got Sins, which is a like kind of like a supernatural mystery horror comic. Me and my friend Jacob are doing about the sons and daughters of Lucifer, the devil, like the legit devil. And basically they got powers too because they're half demon heritage. But mainly you'd think they would want to rule over, take over Earth or do something like that. Nah, they just want to, solve mysteries, do that kind of Scooby Doo gang, but more M-rated
Mm-hmm.
esque stuff. But
Yeah.
they have a reason for that. It's because they want to see their mother in heaven. They think if they do enough good, once they die, they'll go and see her again. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of the main plot point for the entirety of the comic.
I like that. I like that twist. I like that a lot. I
Yeah,
really love things where you kind of subvert expectations, legitimately. Like you have the quote unquote demons or demonic kids who end up being good, or you have the angelic people who end up, maybe they're not so good. I love that, man. That also sounds like it's gonna be a banger because you're setting up. I love how in your universe you're setting up. You got your more, I guess, meat and potatoes style superhero with the futuristic twist on it for Clayman. Then you hop over to Sins, and we're in the mystery solving game here with some children of Satan, and that's some real cool shit, man. Like I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a whole lot about Sins, but I do think that's a real dope ass concept.
yeah, it's all good. It's like I got the summary and I got some pages art on my pin tweet on my Twitter where kind of it explains a little more about what happens and stuff like that.
Mhm. Is there any of them that you want to go in depth more a little bit here, like any of the individual sins?
Oh yeah, well let's see. You got well with the Sanctus family, that's their last name. You got Malik Pride, who was Pride, like that's kind of his particular sin. He's
Mm-hmm.
kind of all the sins were kind of crazily enough, they were all born around the same month, day, and year, June 6th, 1996. Yes, I did use a 666 moniker. But
Yeah, I
anyways,
got that. Yeah.
Pride is the way I wanted to put him. He is a college professor, and he basically teaches. As far as I know, I think like he teaches like the aspects of the supernatural to like mainly mostly humans that want to know about it. But yeah, like again, another twist is that yes, humans and the supernatural live amongst each other because back in 500 AD, to ultimately stop a war, the humans and supernatural said like, look, we got tired of bloodshed. Let's just work together. Let's live together in a society. Hopefully, our children and our great grandchildren, all that will sort this out more later, and a
Hmm.
contract was sealed with their along with their blood from a blood seal. So, if and again, if things get messed up, Earth and probably everything else is going to go straight to hell. Maybe not literally, but something else entirely
Right.
regarding that. Let's see. Yeah, Raph is obviously the angriest kid. He's also the shortest. Yeah, I wanted to make him 6'2" originally, but I think I told my editor, I was like, hey, what if I make him like almost Wolverine height, like make him like 5'6"? And
Yeah, I
he
would
was like,
love
oh
that.
my,
I
he
was
was
just
like,
thinking.
yeah, he was like, oh my god, dude, that's perfect because then it's like, it just kind of goes right with the short fuse temper persona.
Yeah, it's got a
Um,
little Wolverine Vegeta thing going on over there.
yeah, exactly. And when I was designing him, it was like I definitely was looking up. I was actually playing Devil May Cry 5, and I was like, oh my god, I cannot come up with what this character should at least partially look like in his uh costume design kind of thing. And it's like, lo and behold, I see Nero, and I'm like, that's it. That's kind of what inspiration for. And after that, I got Jacob to do design for it. I'm like, yeah, he's perfect. Uh,
Hmm.
and then you have Gus, aka Gluttony. He is the gentle giant. About like 6'5", 200 something pounds. He was like a big fat ass little chubby boy, when he was a little kid. But
Hmm.
he worked it out, and now he's practically indestructible.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. He turned that shit all the way around.
Yeah, he went from I gotta find my daughter to I gotta, get that Redfield bloodline going.
Man, this
Yeah,
dude
because
look damn, man.
yeah,
I love how the characters in Sins, they have simple enough character designs, but they say so much about who the characters are.
yeah,
Like
it's
I
like
can
the
see the
main,
wrath
yeah,
on Wrath. I can see the pride in Pride, and I just have to say this here. I love
that's fine.
Pride. Like Pride, Malik. He's my dude. He's probably gonna be my favorite.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying this like Pride is gonna be like what Dante is to my Virgil, and I'm like, well, who's the Dante? And then like, oh yes, and then like we forward it over to Greed, who is like instantaneously. I'm like, look, if people are gonna say Gus looks a bit like Chris, then I'm going to make Greed look a bit like Leon. So I again did some research, looked up Leon's design from like Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 2 remake, kind of cobbled it together to this character. And yeah, and it's funny enough, before Jacob, I even like read Jacob's mind before he designed. I'm like, you're probably going to make him want to smoke, right? He's like, oh yeah, dude, I can totally see him being a smoker, and I'm like, yeah, sure. And I made it clear between him and Pride is that Pride would be like the all dress type. I think with Greed he'd be half casual, half dress oriented. And then again, like Jacob got that down to a T, and I love him for it. And particularly I think like for his main ability kind of is that he's just super fast. So Flash, Quicksilver, that kind of super
Yeah,
speed, yeah,
got you
that
the
is kind of
speedster.
that one. But obviously, yeah, he didn't get it from a mutation or through some other stuff. Yeah, no, it's just demon speed. The best joke I did with him is that with a friend or a cat, I was joking about our OC battle, and I was like, yeah, Green's totally gonna use Royal Guard. you
You,
know?
say that again now.
No, yeah, he's gonna use Royal Guard. You know what I mean? Dante's Royal Guard.
Oh yeah, you gotta forgive me, man. I'm not. I'm. They're gonna revoke my nerd card for this. I'm not that big into Devil May Cry. I know it exists. I've played a couple of the games. I played the DMC Devil May Cry, aka the one that real fans apparently all hate. I'm almost last Jediing it. Like the one thing I kind of halfway know about Devil May Cry is the one that the fans actually hate. So I just nod and say yes, but it does. I just listening to your stuff alone, even without the Devil May Cry references, I'm really feeling it. Like I love how your characters I appreciate when you break them down, but there's a lot of stuff I can tell about them just by looking at them.
Yeah, I understand. And like I got to give big props to Jacob because you can tell that like you said, it's like they're not only does their particular sin, I think, fit the aesthetic of their clothing and their appearance, but you know, it just like it is how it is. You can even tell from their personality how it goes.
Yes. Yes, I love when characters are posed and are designed like that, man. Like, please,
Mm.
if your character art isn't communicating stuff about your character, what are you doing? But yeah, I'm loving that shit. I almost don't even want to know any more about it. I kind of want to go in cold on that one. Like, I know enough about it to be interested, and from there, I just want to dive in. And I really feel like that one is going to be in terms of, first of all, it's going to scratch my supernatural itch because I love shit like that. I love anything dealing with supernatural or
Yeah,
mythology, deities. Like, give me that stuff now. I
I
need it.
know it's a very to me it's like if I don't have that superhero itch, I just go to supernatural. I got like a not a one track mind. I just get my mind moves fast. I go move from genre to genre sometimes. But I got a bunch of YouTube playlists for that whenever I get in the mood, so it's all good on that front.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Man, look, I
Yeah.
got to have them. I don't know what part of my brain decided that I'm going to fuse my need for music and my ability to write, but I'm really glad that it happened.
Oh yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's like people keep like getting even a little bit scared about that, but I'm like, don't feel bad about it. It's like or afraid about it. It's just like it just gets you in the rhythm to write.
Yeah. Man, that's so good though, man. Like when you can find a track that just speaks to you and goes right into your soul, and you might have been sitting on a story point or hitting writer's block or something, but when that piece hits you right, man, it just
I
unlocks
know,
something in
yeah.
you. It is so
So
good, man.
yeah, sometimes like the weirdest thing, like when I was writing a sin story, I actually like I have two monitors, right? I was like,
Hmm.
I had my script on one hand, and I was actually watching, I guess, like an adventure game playthrough, walkthrough, because
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of those old '80s, '90s FMV adventure games, they actually gave me a lot of inspiration for Sins because in that perspective of you, the character, going through all these adventures, and I'm like, yeah, I could do something like that for Sins or even Dimensional Warriors because that's fun.
Yeah. It's
It's
real
just like,
weird
yeah,
how stuff that you don't even expect necessarily to give you inspirational
I
will
know,
just creep
right?
up on
It's
it'll just
crazy.
creep up on you to
You're like shit. It's like yeah. Sometimes you wake up at like 3, 4 in the morning in a cold sweat, and you're like shit. I gotta write now.
bust
Like
right.
this will go away.
Like,
Let's
oh
see.
god,
I
man.
guess. Let's see. What else? Yeah, and then you got the free girls. You got lust, envy, sloth.
Hmm.
Honestly, between them is like I did not think. Sloth is really really good. I thought her being obviously being the whole tired 24/7, but her having the like I assuming the one outfit all day, like you wear like for probably your whole life kind of
Yeah,
aesthetic with her. I'm like, yeah, that's perfect because come on, she's too lazy or she'd be too tired to change outfits every now and then.
for real, man. Like just looking at her, she looked like she's barely even has enough energy to keep standing.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
literally just like, why am I not asleep? Why am I not laying down right now?
Yeah.
It's so good. It is so good, man. Now tell me which one is my girl here with the hat?
That is Evelyn or Envy as a lot of the guys like to make fun of, except for Gus. Gus like treats her with utmost respect. She
Mhm.
actually, in terms of it, originally she was the kind of the so-called like leader and founder of Sin's Detective Agency, but I think Mercy would find it better that like her and Gus would kind of do a co-leadership orientation. So Gus would lead most of the time, but Envy just like yeah, Envy just likes to do a detective work. That's her kind of thing. Sometimes she just likes to be the lone wolf thing, try to prove to the rest of her family she doesn't sometimes need them, but at the same time she can't get away from them because her envy makes her jealous of sometimes of what her brothers and sisters accomplishments can do.
Ah, okay. All right. So we getting some meaty characterization there. I love that. I love a character that has some really rich conflict going on.
Yeah,
And that she I mean she looked like she dripping with it. I mean, she already just got the drip straight up, and now
yeah.
she's dripping with the conflict. So
She got the shoes too. Like look at
exactly,
those dress shoes.
her shoe game is on point.
Yeah.
Like she gonna be kicking people's asses out here with them Oxfords, and they ain't gonna know what the
Yeah.
fuck happened to them. Like, let's go. I love that shit. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, I gets down with some snazzy dressed women's, but
Yeah.
yo people are all rocking it, man. Like between, I told you, if Pride were my favorite, then she is most definitely right on his ass.
Yeah. If I
Love
had
it,
to
man.
rank it myself, probably like my top two, probably like originally I think Pride was my favorite, but I don't know, like Gus is starting to become my favorite just because like just like with me, his kind of as I write him, his kindness is very infectious amongst his family, amongst the people that know him, and amongst even when he's in Dimensional Warriors as a member, his kindness is very infectious too.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at his face right now, and even though his body is screaming, "I could bend you like a pretzel," he looks like he either needs a hug or wants to give someone a hug. Like,
Yeah.
that's a very
It's like
interesting parody
I'll
there.
bring him home. I'll bring her home at 8, sir. That kind
Exactly.
of face. Yeah.
Like you never have to worry about him giving your daughter anything but a respectful evening.
Yeah.
So good, man. We rocking it with the Sins, and you mentioned Dimensional Warriors.
Yeah.
Tell us about
But,
the
I'll
Warriors.
tell you about that. But first, we got to go with the last one. That's like kind of the last like one without the crossover. So we got Pony
That's
Warriors,
right. That's right. My
which
bad.
is like yeah. Just what was it? Uh, it's funny enough. I was just talking about that yesterday from what was it? The Draw and Talk guy Tyler,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Oh, what is I guess your kookiest, funniest comic you're making?" I'm like, "Yeah, it has to go to Pony Warriors because given that kind of parody about like." I think originally I put it in that like instead of 5 or 6 little girls getting these kind of powers, it's like that turns them into ponies. What if I just do it to a bunch of 5 or 6 dudes who are around like the ages of 16 to 21? And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, and then like I laughed my ass off, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna keep going with this idea because it's just too funny to pass up.
Look, man, when something smacks you because it's just too absurd not to do,
I know,
you
right?
have
Like
to do it.
you have to do it, man. It's like and I think like I feel like yeah for the summary too is that okay, so it's about again five it's about basically 6 dudes, 5 of them are ponies. It's like you got Adam, Jack, Rune, Jeremy, Richard, and then their human guy Kai, or it's like in his full Japanese name is like Kaijin.
Mhm.
And basically like I said, yeah, they basically get turned to ponies by this alien pony queen, and now they gotta like protect the world against alien threats that are trying to like keep coming in. And strangely enough, they keep coming into their place, which is Beach Town, New Jersey, which is basically a parody of the Jersey Shore because I live in Jersey. So I
Yes,
was
I
like,
love it.
I and it's funny too because like I sometimes I look up references, but then others I'm like, I remember it like this. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's been funny doing this. It's probably Pony Wars has probably been out of all my stuff. This has probably been the funniest I've ever, because I like to I try to keep going with the jokes that make my editor laugh. That's kind of my thing.
Mm-hmm. Now, tell me, you said that it's referencing, or it's like a fictionalized version of the Jersey Shore. Is there a specific time period? or
Oh
is it
yeah,
just like just
yeah.
anytime?
It's probably like modern times, like our time.
Hmm. Okay, cool. That's another thing that I enjoy when writers put things from their own life or draw inspiration from it and put it in their story. Like if you don't mind, just for me pulling a
Yeah,
little
go
bit from
go.
my own stuff in here real quick. That's what I'm doing with Bond of the Blade because I was raised and currently still live in the 757 area, Hampton Roads, Virginia, and I know I have so many experiences, vivid from childhood and growing up here. I'm like, why don't I put that in my story? So Union City is a combination of the seven cities that make up Hampton Roads in the early 2000s. And so folks who lived here then or grew up here, they're going to see a lot of stuff, a lot of references from slang that was used to some stores, fashion trends, all that stuff's going to be in there, man. I think that's a great personal touch when we put those things in our story because it just enriches the
Exactly.
world. Just awesome world building, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, go please go on with telling us about the Pony Warriors.
and I think and I guess in terms of to people ask about the terms of inspiration, um, it was definitely what was it? Sailor Moon was actually the first inspiration for it. I didn't want to, but I wanted to change it to not make it just a bunch of dudes in dresses. I mean, that'd be cool, but I'm like, nah, it's like it'd be kind of cool, but not what my vision was entailing. So
Right.
then it was like, okay, I got Power Rangers. I'm like, all right, I can put the color aesthetics in. So we got red, blue, green, yellow, white, and black for all the dudes. That's all good.
Mhm.
And then for that joke I said no hoes, no hoes. We just got to do bros. So
All bros, no
no
hoes.
ho, no hoes, just bros. Yeah. So anyways, and then for the third inspiration, I was like, oh, I looked in like I got this My Little Pony comic for free, and I was like, okay, it's Fritz Comics. I don't give a shit. So I read it, and I'm like, you know what? I can do that as their kind of alter egos to make it their Power Ranger s persona. And and
Mhm.
and funny enough, though, by the way, they can't change back. So once they change in issue one, yeah, they stay like that for a while.
Damn.
So and then when I did the research, I wanted to, and again, I did like with the Power Rangers aesthetic that each character comes from either like they either come from they are in America, but each one kind of has like a different culture. Like Adam is of Italian descent, Jack is Scottish, and then Rune's Norwegian, and Jeremy's Mexican, and Richard's British, and obviously Kai's Japanese. But obviously
Mhm.
they were born in America. But again, you can still get all that aesthetic from their coloring and from their faces and their skin tone, all that other stuff. And again, people are fine with it. They like it.
Yeah, like that's real dope that you have different, even though they're all of the same nationality, they have different cultures and ethnicities that you can tell either from looking at them or getting to know them a little deeper. And that's real important when you have an ensemble cast. Like you have to do stuff to make them their own people, and it can't just be found in like their powers. You have to put forth that extra effort to really make them feel real. And that's I really like that shit, man. Like for real. Again, Pony Warriors. If I had just was walking down the street one day and I heard someone like, "Yo, you read the latest issue of Pony Warriors like last year," I just would have been like, "Huh? What?" But your vision and the love you have for these characters, I can see that shit. And I am invested in something that I probably might not have been invested in if this had just been me walking down the street somewhere. It's almost like that thing that we retweeted today where it's like people are not going to care about your stories until you make them care.
Yeah.
And
Like
that's one thing I
it was
can
that.
definitely say about you, Clay, is that you are very good at making people care. You sure as hell made my ass care.
Yeah. I think it was like originally I would have said like um it's not also, don't be afraid to, like, if you're just a writer, it's also not a bad idea to hire someone, of course, to like have someone draw your character and then be like, oh, this is what they look like. And at least some people will, care, because at least now you're the character you wrote down in words is now actually as in a physical body now.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's actually how I had to do it because I my drawing skill caps at a solid straight line that leads into a stick figure. Like that's the best you're gonna get from me. If you see a perfectly drawn circle, you know anime didn't draw it. All right. So late last year, I was just like, I just want to see how some of my people would look. So I had my girl Foxy Phoenix drawn, and I liked her so much. I'm like, kind of want to do another one. So then I had some more drawn, and before you know it, oops, pal, surprise! Here we go. We writing. It's a comic book now. My stuff was originally gonna just be prose until I saw them and other people saw them, and I think that that's something that might, I think a lot of other creators can relate to, where we're not necessarily skilled with visual art, but we provide the words. We write the pretty words that other people use to draw the pretty pictures. And yeah, so I'm definitely glad that you went that route as well. I do want to ask a little bit though, if you don't mind, before we get into the
Yeah,
crossover.
yeah.
What inspired you to start writing?
I think what started, it's like it's always, I always love this question because I always have, like, when I say it, sometimes people laugh and they're like stunned. So it's like it's 2018. I'm like around 21, right? I'm 24 now, but I was
Mhm.
working out, doing my crunches, getting those abs, and then I was sweating, and I was like, I as I kept doing it, I kept thinking of my friends, Brett, was it Brett, Cody, Carl, and Robert, as they're making their comics, right? And I'm like, and then I stand up suddenly, the sweat going down my face, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna do my own one. So I write it down. I write the title down. I basically write a 5, 6. I basically write a character bible down of Clay, just Clay, and then I'm like, okay, now I gotta go find an artist. So I see this, what is it, this German dude, Panzer, and he was like, okay, so I basically pay him, like, I think, what was it, 20 something bucks, might have been more, for the first design. And I'm like, it's like, hey, this isn't bad. It's not the best, but it's good, you
Mhm.
know. And obviously, like, I just took, like, some references from, like, the Max and, like, Deku's first costume. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, so do it like this. And then, like, again, it went pretty good. And then I actually started writing for real. I wrote my first script. It was fucking dog shit. And what was it?
They tend to be.
Robert looked into it, and then, like, after like 3 or 4 tries, we got it down finally. And then, like, later it was like 5 or 6 because Mercy edited it, and then I got a proofreader for it, but that's all done. It's like no more, like, edits done for the first issue script of issue number 1. After that, I started to get more stuff done. I actually, with the Sins artist Jacob, we actually met through a contest. He was doing a contest, and I won it. And I guess, like, I said, hey, your art is really good, because he did the second design with Clay and the hood. So you got to thank him for that, because he came
Thank
up with the hood
you.
idea first.
My God, that shit looks so good.
Yeah,
I love Clay
I
look with
know.
the bald head, but that hood, man, it's
I know. It's like people keep going on and on telling me, it's like, look, man, you gotta. I love the bald head look, normal
mhm.
mask, but you gotta. Can you do, like, I don't know, another, like, make his mainline suit something with the other one? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, I still like the mainline suit,
Mhm.
uh, but yeah. Anyways, and then I met Sunny, and I was like, "Oh, you do Tom and Artie? So can you do this thing for Clay?" And she was like, "Sure." So she did that, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's so perfect! I love this." And then yeah, then I went to Christian, who did, like, Void Walker for Alternate Comics,
Mhm.
and he did that. he also did the Half-Life comics too. That was pretty great. I did that. I'm like, yeah, this is perfect. It ain't gonna get any better. And lo and behold, a couple of years later, still me scouring for an artist, in comes Ivan, and I was like, oh, this dude's great. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see if I can hire him. And like after a couple of weeks, like we did, he got the line art in for Clay's design. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I got him by the virtual shoulders. I'm like, dude, we got to work together. And he was like, all right, sure, I don't mind. So after that, it was like, the rest is done.
No,
Yeah,
that actually makes too much sense. Especially with your kind of like your leveling progression from artist to artist. And it just sounds like when you found Ivan, it was just a match made in heaven.
yeah.
And y'all are just inseparable now. Like I literally cannot imagine anybody else being the
I
main
know.
artist for
I
Clayman.
Yeah. It's like I know, and I'm happy people are very patient with how long. Like because remember, Ivan works super fast, but he also does like 6, 7 projects at a time.
Right.
So he's got a lot of comic work he does, but he also works super fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I completely understand. Like, it's beautiful when you have someone who is very passionate about your doing your project as much as you're passionate about writing it. But we also have to remember that these people do have lives outside of our
Yeah,
projects. They have other things they could be working on, 9 to 5s, families, all that shit. So,
yeah,
just being patient with them and then being patient with other people when you're into a story, but you haven't seen new art in a while. Like I'm already gonna read Clayman. I already know. So I there's
yeah.
really nothing that could happen or any amount of time where I'd be like, all right, I'm not reading no more. I'm already
Yeah.
invested, and if it drops tomorrow, I'm gonna read it. If it drops in
Yeah.
December, I'm gonna read it.
The thing that yeah, not the thing I'm excited to is that like a few factors is like the Indiegogo is almost done. People are getting their books finally. I am happy how patient people were, but and
Mm-hmm.
also like I haven't really gotten I've gotten critiques, yeah, but I haven't gotten like full blown negativity that oh this campaign sucked, you suck like that or whatever. To me,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I guess like the best not the not well yeah I guess the best critic would be myself. I do wish it took less of a yeah it took like 4 or 5 months for this thing to go in, but at least people got their books and
Mm-hmm.
all that, and yeah, people kept. I literally like what was it? I went to Josh and I went to like Rags, Rags and like
Mm-hmm.
the guy who's doing a pineapple pizza man. They're
Yeah.
really cool guys, and I'm like, and they're like, oh, dudes, like please, it's like they're like, dude, please, like we're patient. It's like stop stressing out over it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm 24, man. This is my first comic campaign. I don't want people to get like wait like almost half a year for this shit.
Yeah. No, that's real. That's real.
Yeah,
Because when you have people that, first of all, I can't speak for you, but I'd be
yeah,
surprised as hell every time I wake up and people like, yo, when is Bond of the Blade dropping? What we doing with Spider Circle? I'm like, wait, y'all care about this shit? Like,
yeah. And
okay.
there people did the same thing with like, oh, when are you dropping the campaign? When are you dropping the campaign? I'm like, guys, please, I'll drop it when I'm ready. And then like I dropped it around like I think what was it, February 1st? I dropped it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was like, and it was crazy. I got what was it in less than a day or so? No, yeah, like probably a day or so. I actually beat the thing my goal, and I was like, holy shit.
Damn, all right.
Yeah, because people, I think like one guy said it best is that because Clay puts his heart and soul into supporting us, he is probably, if I could say, Clay is the number one supporter of indie comics because it feels like he's out there every day. He's looking at a comic. He feels like it's got passion, heart, and then he puts his energy into it like a spirit bomb. So, you know,
That's perfect.
I know it's like, and again, people keep saying my kindness is infectious, and I'm like, look, man, it is what it is. I'm from Jersey. I'm a sometimes I might to myself, I might feel like I'm a mean son of a bitch, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't let that meanness get to me, you know?
Yeah,
It's just like it gets tiring being mean. It's like just spread a little kindness. Like it's not
dude,
hard.
bro, you random, but it's gonna make sense. You ever seen American History X?
I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah. With Edward Norton, right?
Yup.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Tell me why I just watched that yesterday. And what's probably my favorite movie quote of all time, one of my favorite quotes, period, is from the end of that movie where the character Danny narrating says, life's too short to be pissed off all the time. I
Yeah.
first saw American History X when I was in elementary school. And that word, I mean, also just pairing it with what was going on in the movie, that phrase stuck with me, man. And you just said the damn truth. Life is too short to just be walking around mad, angry, mean all the time. And what that guy said about you is also true as hell. Like you are bar none like the most supportive person, definitely one of the most supportive people I've ever met in this little sphere of ours. Like, there's not a day that goes by where you're not retweeting someone's stuff. You do the OC questions of the day to get folks to kind of talk more about their characters as well. You're
Yeah.
not just trying to tell people, hey, read my shit, read my shit, read my shit. You're reading
No.
other people's stuff too. You're interacting with other people's characters. You're inspiring people, motivating people. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, as much as I love writing, I love that part of being a creative person as well. Like linking up with other creative people and just vibing and just iron sharpening iron, as the Bible would say. I probably completely misused that quote. Forgive me. I ain't stepped foot in the church to be a member
Forgive.
in like
You
10
have
years.
sinned.
But like definitely you are out here doing the damn thing. You are so supportive. Your energy is infectious, your positivity is infectious, not unlike a certain supportive and positive son of a bitch that we just talked about a few minutes ago. I wonder where he got that from. But no, you're definitely out here doing this shit for real, and it's a beautiful thing to see, for real.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. We are getting close to the hour mark, but before we start to wrap up, I do want to touch on the Dimension Warriors, man,
Yeah.
because I keep seeing this art from this with this. That's the one with the really big dude, right? With like
Yep.
the
Ruiner. No ruiner.
ruiner. Yeah, he looked like he about to ruin every fucking thing. All right, tell me about these people. I need to know about it.
Okay, so basically, Dimensional Wars is like I said, it's a culmination of it's like with the Avengers shtick. Look, they come from different dimensions, but they all have to come together to fight threats, and not any one of them can fight on their own. So they have to work together to get it going. I mean, you
Mhm.
got Clay, the superhero, Gus, the supernatural detective. You got Stable, the Pony Warrior. And then you got Ruiner, the really big, tall dude from a post-apocalyptic world with like his own kind of superhuman abilities in and outside the armor.
Mhm.
So with them together, they're basically the Dimensional Warriors.
Nice, nice. Now you said Ruiner has powers in and out of the armor.
Well, he's got the superhuman physical attributes, and he's also got kind of elemental powers. So he can
Mhm.
like from his gauntlets, he can like shoot out fire, water, wind, earth type attacks. But so far, yeah, that's how as far as his powers go. But they're still really strong in
Gotcha.
hindsight.
Gotcha. Hey, look, man, it's okay to have an OP character every now and then.
Yeah,
As long as they ain't all OP, 'cause then you. Oof. But no, no, he sounds awesome. Like I want to read more about him. I can't wait to see what type of like just out of this world threat is gonna need all of them to pool their abilities and their strategies and shit together. Like that's gonna be an event. And I know that's probably far down the line, but I already can't wait for it.
yeah. And if people get worried about like, is Dimensional Wars just going to be event after some Avengers type stuff? It's like, no, it's not. You can make an Avengers comic series and not make it all on like, events. They could do normal Avengers type stuff and you could still call it a series or call it like an
Yeah.
arc or whichever you want to call it, because like again, it's like if I told them, it's like it's not I don't blame them. I blame Marvel for keep shilling out event after event. Heck, even DC does it with Justice League.
Unfortunately.
You just gotta simmer. Yeah, it's basically like you're forcing them to eat salty potato chips. It's delicious, but you got to keep shoveling it down. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
can't have one chip at a time,
No,
because you
no,
do,
no,
it
no,
tastes
no.
like shit, right?
Exactly.
You got to have that nice small delicious dessert that like you take a bite out of it. That's how it goes. And like
Yeah.
once you finish it, then you have it good, and then you have your normal dinner the next day, and then maybe like a couple weeks or a couple months later, then you have the dessert again.
Hmm.
That's usually at least how back in the old days, that's how a Marvel DC event worked, you know?
Right.
Like it's not that hard, honestly. It's just a Marvel DC forgot, or they just keep showing out events hoping people give a shit about it.
Yeah, because I mean, when you have nothing of substance to offer, you just gonna keep rolling out. All right, here's another one. Here's another universe-ending event, guys. All right, we're about to restart the timeline for the 10th time this year, guys. Come on, let's go. It just gets exhausting. Like, how many times are we gonna have all these events? Like DC already, I feel like they've had like 4 events this year already,
And
and
like
they're all going
Marvel,
on at the same time.
yeah, and
Like,
Marvel's getting like their own kind of fucking She-Hulk World War Hulk thing, and
yeah,
I'm like, no one gives a crap about that, man. We already,
even
we,
no.
sorry, you go.
I was just saying, even if I did like She-Hulk in her current incarnation, I still wouldn't be on board with this shit. But the fact that they've destroyed the character of She-Hulk, and then they have to do this big event again, as if anyone gives a damn about what is happening in
I
any of
know.
these comics, let alone with She-Hulk. Like, oh, it's World War.
That's
Oh my
that's the
god.
thing that really like pissed me off about, again, like comic book events in general, because again, you put out so much of it that no one is going to care about it. I mean,
Mm-mm.
like I said, back in the old days, like people gave a shit about like the Infinity War, Thanos
Right.
doing the snap, and then like Adam Warlock seizing the Infinity Gauntlet to end the war ultimately. That's the kind of stuff that we want, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and then yeah, I hate to say, I'd rather take an event that sucks, but hey, at least like it kind of built up to it. But over like stuff where it's like, here, just have 10 events in less than a year. I'm like, no, that's horrible. That's a horrible business
Hey,
decision.
like
It's
how
not.
you
Yeah.
you brought up the
Uh,
magic word. It's lead up, set up. There has to be things to whet our appetite. You can't just be like, okay, random bullshit, random bullshit, random bullshit. All right, here's the apocalypse, guys. Come on, let's go. Like, no, how am I supposed to get invested in what's happening? Or even if something like the death of Superman back in the 90s, like how the whole reason, aside from it being the death of Superman, because obviously, but the
he came
fact that
back.
that
Yeah.
was um so iconic, that was such an impactful storyline, was because it was done right. Like there are people who didn't give a damn about Superman, never cracked open a Superman comic book, and then they said, "All right, y'all, it's time. Here it come." You, I'm telling you, I know it was people because I was one of those people where I was. I mean, I was a little kid, obviously, but like when I heard, I'm like, oh, Superman died. What? Like that shit reverberated around the world, man. And to think that we used to have events like that, and now they are just a dime a dozen shit that the big two do because they can't bother to write an actual regular ass story to save their lives. So now they got to keep pulling out all these events. Oh, here come Future State. Oh, here come World War She-Hulk. Blah blah blah. Whoop de woo. This, that, and the third. And it's just a waste of time. And more than anything else, to me, it communicates that they just have nothing left. So they have to. What's that phrase? Jump the shark. They've jumped the
Yeah.
shark.
Mm-hmm.
They just have to keep doing all this weird shit to get eyes on them because there's nothing left there of substance. And it's sad, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. But I know we don't have to worry about that with you, which was, which is the most important thing. I don't have to worry about you pulling no uh shit like that. I don't have to worry
I know,
about a
yeah.
lot of the
And believe
other
me, if I did try to
manipulation.
something, yeah, if I did try to do something, some stupid shit like that, like my editor and my proofreader, or sorry, no, my assistant editor would, yeah, my two editors, I'll just say, it's like would be like, no, man, like control yourself, just like we'll look it up and see if like maybe you could simmer it down a bit, make sure it's connected and all that. I'd be like, sure. It's like
Mhm.
actually real quick, but before we end this, it's like I will say though between my writing skills, if people ask me, oh, how much did your skills grow between issues or like when you wrote your scripts? I think like Mercy said, like it's like I almost leveled up immediately when I did issue two because he said like compared to my writing with issue one and two, issue two was like oh my god, it was like incredible. I was
Mm.
surprised at like how
Damn.
well I that script was compared to one.
I love hearing that shit, because I think some people forget that, yeah, we're reading comics and we're looking at the pictures, but writing is still a humongous part. And if you're not growing as a writer, you know how just like it's frustrating to see a comic book exist for like 10 years and the art never get better, never progresses. Same thing with writing. Same thing with writing. Like there are so many books that I would love if the writing ever improved or even did something different. So hearing that you're already leveling up to that level, that's awesome. That's music to my ears. Definitely good shit. I know I'm gonna love your characters, man. I know I'm gonna love them. I already love Clay, man. I can't help but love his lovable, evil, smiling face as he's a mutant superhero in the future. It's good ass shit, man. And I hope you get more eyes on you. I need everyone listening to this. I need all eyes on Claylex. I need all eyes on Claylex. I need y'all to go to his shit. I need y'all to look up Clayman, Sins, Pony Warriors, and be on the lookout for that Dimensional Warriors when it comes, man, because it's gonna be some good
Yeah.
shit. And I'm gonna have you back on once the campaign or once the issue drops proper, so you can talk about that as well. Because
Okay, sure,
I
sure.
already know
And
I'm
also,
gonna read it.
like, yeah, and one last thing I gotta do, like, don't
Oh yeah,
forget to
yeah.
the special surprise. If people know what the crossover with Demon Hunter Raven, right? Part one, we got the part two coming in. We'll probably have something with that next month for next month. So, you
You know
know,
what? That's right. Because I did
yeah,
read that, and that was the truth as well. So I'm gonna be
yeah.
on the lookout for that. Y'all need to be on the lookout for all that
There's gonna
shit. But
be evil
go ahead.
Power Rangers, kaiju, that kind of stuff. There's gonna be One Punch Man references, covers, all that other stuff.
I love
It's
it,
gonna
man.
be exciting. It's gonna get you
Keep it coming,
excited,
man.
huh?
Keep it coming.
Yeah.
But
That's why I'm excited for that one because that'll definitely keep people satisfied until I get the Kickstarter going. So that'll be good too.
definitely, man. Gotta keep as we wait for the main course. You gotta keep sliding us out them good appetizers, man. And you sliding out
Yeah.
like whole trays of wings. Talking
Yeah,
about here you go,
it's
it's an
why
appetizer.
yeah, it's that's what the coffee's for because if I get enough money with coffee, I can use that money to like buy like I call it comic promo art to help with the comic stuff like that. And I'm
hmm
really happy people like that. I'm really happy for that.
Oh yeah, man. Shit. Matter of fact, all that shit is gonna be plugged right in the description box. So y'all definitely go check out Claylex's coffee, excuse me. I
Yeah,
know
that's
how
okay.
words work sometimes,
Yeah.
I promise. But definitely slide over to the coffee. Go ahead, slide him some. Check out the stuff if you're feeling it. And I know you're gonna be feeling it. Slide him some money, man. Look, we're gonna get more badass art as we wait for the story proper to go. And it's gonna be so good, and I can't wait for it, man. But thank you for coming on and sitting down and chopping it up with your boy. This
No
was
problem.
definitely a awesome ass conversation, and thank y'all for listening to us on this segment of Unsigned Hype. YouTube version. Definitely still go check out Claylex. Follow him on Twitter. What else are you on other than Twitter?
I'm on YouTube, Twitch with the same name.
Yep.
I got my obviously got my Patreon. I do have a PayPal all that other stuff. Got to get the money going for these comics and other stuff.
Yeah. Definitely, man. So definitely go check him out on all those platforms. Just follow him everywhere. And if you like what he's doing, man, help fund the dream because he's gonna be out here doing the damn thing, man.
Yeah.
And can't wait to have you back on. But until then, and until next time to y'all, I'm Anime. That's Claylex. And we will talk to y'all later. Deuces.